Hi again, everyone. I'm so glad you could join. I wanted to show you something. I went through this with you all the other day. There we go. And had some good feedback, but I forgot to show you this, which was located in the book and had fallen out. But inside it is this cute little pop-up. Look. It's the two, let's see if I can do this right. There we go. There. Isn't that wonderful? See the little birds in the cage? Isn't that cool? And that goes with this. And this is all going to one happy winner. I'm really excited about this. I got thinking about it, and it's like, I don't have children in my life anymore. I used to with my in-laws. The kids would come over and spend the summer with me, come over every weekend to play with the animals and just have fun. That doesn't happen anymore. And so you wouldn't believe all the toys I have. I know that sounds a little weird, doesn't it? Single man with a bunch of toys. It was a different time in my life and I wasn't single. Anyway. But I have all this stuff that is kids related, and I'd like to give it to some of you that have kids. So if you're interested in this, just post it in the comments. I'm not going to ask for you to go through any conniptions, but just make a comment of some kind about why you'd like this, and it's yours. I'll pick somebody amongst those that say they're interested in it. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. And next, remember this? So I'd like to find a happy home for these guys. I mean, there are several of them here, and they need someone that'll love them and care for them more than I can do. I'm busy with Stevie and the goats, and I just don't have time. But I bet you do. So if you post why you would like this, you'll be in the running to get it and hopefully be able to give it a good home. And that's really what I want more than anything. Okay, so let me set this aside. All right, so I want to tell you all thank you so much for the support you've given me throughout this year. I just started this channel in February, and it's still a small channel, and by some standards, but I'm truly grateful and thankful to each of you. You've made this a different kind of home for me, and you've taken someone who considered themselves just an old hermit and really helped me to come out of my shell. And I know that there are many people who will say, well, that's always been within you, blah, 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 right? Maybe it has, maybe it was hidden, but it was with your help that I was able to come out of that shell. And so for that, I want to say thank you so much. So these things that I give away, I'm not trying to buy friendship. And why do I bring that up? I sound like the innocent man screaming, or the guilty man who's proclaiming his innocence, right? It's not that. As a child, I did some very peculiar things. My father was away for a period of time when I was a young man. He was in jail for what he did to my mother. I've posted this in other videos, and we won't go into that now. But during that time, my mother had a very difficult time taking care of us both. She had to take on 2 different jobs. She was working 16 to 18 hours a day just to feed us because she didn't want to go on government assistance. Not that I think that's a bad thing. You need it, and you have to have it. I'm glad it's there and hope it's going to be there for some time for those that really need it. I digress. My mother, though, worked 2 jobs, and I didn't see a lot of her. I was very much the latchkey kid. Where am I going with this? My mother worked really hard to buy me some gifts as a kid. One of them was this game where you pulled these little tops. It had a little plastic like a boxing ring thing, but it was round, and you'd spin these little tops, and they'd all spin around, and the other guy would spin his tops, and you tried to knock them out, that kind of thing. I had a crash-up derby, which that was like the one thing I really, really wanted. I loved going to those crash-up derby things, and so these were these toys, and you would put the car together. It was like 100 little pieces. You'd snap them all together, and then you'd crash them either into each other or into a wall, and they'd blow up into 100 pieces. Anyway, I really liked those things. But as a kid, because I was kind of a messed up kid due to abuse and several other things, I would try to buy my friendship. At least that's what my mother said it was. We lived near, because we were poor, we lived in an area at that time we were poor, so we lived around other poor people, right? And so many of these kids had nothing. I had a mom that worked 2 jobs, so I never did without food or clothes. My mother managed. But some of their parents couldn't. It's not that they wouldn't work or anything like that. For whatever reason, they couldn't or couldn't find a job. I don't know. But the kids were suffering. And so I would give my wrapped toys, my mother had wrapped and put under the tree, I gave them away to other kids. And my mother didn't come home and go, "Oh, how sweet you are to give your gifts to the other kids." She was like, "You did what? I have to work 2 jobs to get these things for you." So it was a pretty cruddy Christmas. I had no presents, and my mom was mad at me. Why do I tell you that story? Because my whole life, anytime I've done something magnanimous or benevolent, I don't like to talk about those things. I will never tell you, "Well, this is the great thing I did." Well, I may say, I took some things to a shelter or something like that, but I'm just saying I'm not one to toot my horn, and it's only because maybe I was raised that that's bad manners, and it just stuck with me. I don't know. But this isn't that, and I don't need to buy friendship. I did okay without people, and I will again if I ever have to. But I sure like having you folks around. And I know I don't have to send you things for you to be here. You're already here, right? So this is a thank you to you for being here. Do you understand that? I hope you do. Because I don't want anyone feeling that way, that anything less than what it is. And it's a gift from me to you. So accept it that way. Merry Christmas, or Happy Holidays, or, we have Kwanzaa coming up, which is the day after Christmas. We have, there are so many different holidays. Some people celebrate Festivus, which I think is really funny. It's a neat little religion that was created on the Seinfeld show. Instead of a Christmas tree, you have a metal pole. Man, I love the feats of strength and those sort of things. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. And that's what I'd really love to celebrate for several different reasons. Just don't have the time for too many holidays. This is sort of the holidays, me and you. But whatever you celebrate, or even if you don't celebrate, I hope that you find happiness and joy throughout the year, not just now. And I hope you're staying warm. It's cold in many of these places, including here. It's not real cold here. It's in the 40s. That's very tolerable. But thank you all so much. A very, very, very big thank you and great big soapy hugs to all of you. Goodbye.